What up, though? Once again, thank you for your comment, right? Because this was my next train of thought. Perhaps maybe it's called Enochian because maybe it's not talking about the Enoch that many would probably initially think. In the Bible, there are two Enochs. The first Enoch was Cain's son. After Cain was banished to the land of Nod to wander up and down, to and fro on the earth and all around it, because Nod means to wander. Cain then knew his wife, and then she gave birth to his son, whose name was Enoch. And afterwards, Cain then erected a city, which he named after his son, Enoch. Now, the name Enoch, it translates to dedicate or dedicated. It translates to trained or disciplined. This is mentioned in the Bible. Enoch was the very first city ever erected. So the Enochians are the sons and daughters of Cain. Now, I've recommended this book in the past, right? And I'll always recommend it again, right? Because although it's a book that's based off of a video game called Vampires the Massacre, I think is the name of the game, right? The book that I'm recommending is called The Book of Nod. And if you are interested, right, you could check out the audiobook on YouTube. It's free 99. But if you listen to this story, if you read this story, it gives you a little more insight into Cain's story, his experience, what he had to go through to become who he was. In order to become who he became, he had to remain dedicated on his path. It took discipline, dedication, training, and discipline. This is alluding to will. This is what it took for Cain to find his true will.
Cain was a being who found his true will. And in order to find his true, authentic self, or to remember who he truly was, his true, authentic self, he had to endure trials, hardships. When Cain was first banished, he was in the darkness, and he was afraid, he was cold, and he was hungry. And beautiful, bright-eyed Lilith saved him. She came to him, and she gave him a gift called the awakening. Lilith initiated Cain. You see, he had been cursed by God, and so she gifted him with the awakening, and she mentioned to him, I don't know what the awakening will do to you, for you are truly cursed. To which his response to her was, if you don't awaken me, I'll die out here. And Lilith was moved with compassion in her heart for Cain. And so she awakened him. She initiated him. Lilith, the dark goddess, saved Cain. Along the way on Cain's journey, the angels came to him. Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Uriel came to him as well. And each of them that came to him, they each kind of said the same thing, right? What they said went along the lines of something like this. Son of Adam, the one above is a merciful God and is willing to forgive you if you repent. And repent, like my mentor has been teaching me, means to turn back. And they asked, will ye not repent? And Cain's response was, no. And each time their response went along the lines of something like this, roughly translated. Oh, word? Well, fuck you then. And because he refused to repent, each of them hurled more punishments upon him. Cain suffered every step of the way on his journey. That's what it took for Cain to remember who he truly was, to discover his true will. And this journey transformed Cain. It was all for supreme growth and development. So after undergoing these trials, he then knew his wife, and she gave birth to his son Enoch. And then he erected a city, which he named after his son Enoch. So the Enochians, they aren't angels. They're the lineage of Cain. They are beings who are dedicated, who are trained, who are disciplined. The Enochians are beings of true will. Y'all be easy.